Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Urshan, and this week we are showing off some of my celebrity autographs. A lot of it is horror, some of it is comic books, some of it is wrestling, a little bit of music. Yeah. So some of it is autographs and some of it is pictures of me with certain celebrities and stuff like that. So I just thought this would be a lot of fun, so let's get right into it. This here, of course, is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Her official action figure, signed by Elvira herself, aka Cassandra Peterson. And I thought it was funny, she doesn't like this figure. She was like, oh, you want me to sign that one? You know, like, why? This is awesome. I love it. Next up, we have this awesome, beautiful Phantasm tin, signed by none other than Mr. Reggie Bannister. This here, of course, is my most prized possession. Yes, the legendary Scream Queen, Mrs. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, this was given to me by my wife for an anniversary gift one year, and man, I just absolutely love it. Alright, next up is one I got recently, Miss Sandy Johnson, Judith Myers herself from the original Halloween, 1978, the masterpiece. And I actually had her on my show, so go check it out, you know. I did an interview with Miss Sandy Johnson, and she was just wonderful. She was an absolute sweetheart, so great to work with. And here's one of my celebrity pictures, and this is with Heather Langenkamp, yes, Nancy Thompson from the original Nightmare on Elm Street, as well as Dream Warriors, of course, and A New Nightmare. And there's me with her, and of course, Freddy Krueger. I love that. And here's my autographed signature of Mr. Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2, my favorite portrayal of the Shape in the entire franchise. Can't ever say enough about him. He's just so scary, so creepy, and not only that, but he did all his own stunts in the movie. He was the stunt man. He worked on other stunts that didn't have Michael Myers too, so yeah. And obviously he did the classic stunt at the end in the hospital when he is lit on fire, you know, so that's badass. And this is kind of a controversial figure. Tony Moran recently got into a little bit of hot water with some comments he made in the past about, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter, and you know, about the fans and Halloween stuff, but he did go on record apologizing, and he did a big interview with Danielle Harris on her Instagram where he apologized for the specific things that he said. So, you know, he did man up, and I'm good with it, you know, so I am proud to have this again, you know. And here's me with the lovely Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp. She played Angela in the original Sleepaway Camp, as well as Return to Sleepaway Camp. And yeah, I have to say she was probably my favorite celebrity experience. She was just a sweetheart. She gave so much time, and, you know, took her time with us, and she answered all my questions, and she just was so pleasant. And here's my picture with the legendary Tom Savini, the master of gore and special makeup effects in horror. And I'm holding up my poster, of course, of Dawn of the Dead, signed by Tom Savini. And here's me with the lovely Amy Steele, who played Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2. My favorite final girl in the franchise, and one of the best final girls, period. And here's me with the Mistress of the Dark herself. Yes, Cassandra Peterson, Elvira. So awesome. I absolutely love this. And here we got a little something from the music world. Yes, you see that right. Dimebag Darrell himself and Vinnie Paul, the Abbott brothers from Pantera. Yep, I did meet them. And this was when, of course, they were with Damageplan. Yeah, who was his final band, Diamond Vinnie's final band together. And it's got their signatures on there, too. I do have a signed Pantera poster with their signatures as well, but I just didn't feel like digging that out. You know, it's buried somewhere. And here's me with the legendary William Shatner. Yes, Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. And as you can see, I am a Star Trek fan, you know. To me, there is nothing better in the world of science fiction than the original Star Trek series. Now I'm going to show off a couple wrestling autographs I have. So here we have the great Bobby the Brain Heenan. Absolute legend. Very sad how he passed away. But yeah, the greatest manager of all time in wrestling, I think, you know. Here we have Bret the Hitman Hart. And this was, of course, when he was in WCW. And at this time, he was actually the United States champion. And he had the belt with him. And we have the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. My favorite wrestler of all time. Yep, grew up watching the Hulkster on the Monday nights all the time, and you know, WWF Superstars, and yeah, and of course WrestleMania. And we have the late great Miss Elizabeth, the iconic Miss Elizabeth. Yes, valet for Randy Macho Man Savage, and also his ex-wife. And you know, she managed some other people. She managed Ric Flair. She managed Lex Luger, of course, who ended up being her boyfriend later on. And you know, unfortunately, it's a sad story. You know, she died in Lex Luger's apartment, and they were both doing drugs together. And you know, it's just crazy. So sad. She's just an incredibly beautiful woman. Yeah, I miss Elizabeth, you know. Here we have an old school classic Avengers comic book signed by the late great Stan Lee. Yes, another one of my most prized possessions. And yeah, this is one of the comics that he actually wrote back in the day. It's a real old one. We have Femme Fatale magazine with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, on the cover, and that is signed by her as well. This one she did love. She's like, ooh, I like that one. And here's that classic Dawn of the Dead poster signed by the great Tom Savini, master of gore and special makeup effects and horror. And obviously he was in Dawn of the Dead too, as the leader of the biker gang. And of course we have the Sleepaway Camp posters signed by Miss Felissa Rose. And it says, "To Sean, meet me at the waterfront after the social." I love that. And here we have this awesome Friday the 13th Part 2 poster signed by Amy Steele. And it says, Sean, what if there really is a Jason, you know, playing off that classic line from the film, you know. And here we have the awesome Nightmare on Elm Street poster signed by Heather Langenkamp, Nancy Thompson herself. And it says, Sean, don't fall asleep. Ha ha ha. And a couple more from the comic book world. This is a cool poster signed by artist Jay Lee. Who, yeah, is one of my favorite comic book artists. I just think he has such a unique and original style. And of course, that's Batman and Superman. And last one I'm going to show you here is John Romita Jr., probably one of my favorite Spider-Man artists of all time. And one of my favorite comic book artists in general. And they have that dope drawing of Wolverine there, and there's John Romita Jr.'s signature. Fantastic artist. Alright guys, that's it for my celebrity autographs and pictures, and thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Urshan, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Folks, don't forget to grab your Sean Patrick Urshan gear and represent the Horror Corner. Also, check out these awesome mugs we have, perfect for your coffee. And definitely check out the Horror Hangout live stream t-shirt and represent the legacy of the Horror Hangout. Check out the link in the description below this video.